Tensions are high in the Palestinian territories after exchanges of gunfire in Gaza and the West Bank, the day after what Hamas calls an assassination attempt on Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh. Haniyeh's convoy came under fire as he entered Gaza through the Rafah border crossing. One of his bodyguards was killed and his son shot in the face. Now armed fighters are deployed across the occupied territories as both Fatah and Hamas warn the situation is deteriorating. Al-Jazeera's Walid Batrawi is standing by live in Ramallah and Noor Odeh is in Gaza. We begin with a political war of words.
We hold Mohammed Dahlan directly liable for the assassination bid targeting the Prime Minister. We also hold him responsible for the bloods of those killed and injured in the incident.
لأنه بدلاً من الأخ إسماعيل رضوان المتحدث باسم حركة حماس من الخروج.
Instead of the Hamas spokesman appointing himself a judge and declaring who is responsible for the embarrassing events at Rafah yesterday, by falsely and wrongly accusing Palestinian parliamentarian Mohammed Dahlan, this accusation can only be regarded as an official and public incitement for the murder of Mohammed Dahlan.
وهو التحريض العلني والرسمي على قتل محمد دحلان.
Instead, why didn't Hamas come out as quickly and name the person responsible for the killing of the 3 children in Gaza?
Now in Gaza, the Palestinian Prime Minister has delivered a speech to tens of thousands of Hamas supporters at a rally to celebrate the 19th anniversary of the movement. Ismail Haniyeh told the crowd that the Palestinian people were suffering an unjust siege, but must not despair. We can now cross live to our correspondent in Gaza, Noor Odeh, who has more on that speech. Noor.
Yes, Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh delivered a very impassioned speech to tens of thousands of Hamas supporters and members. He told them that they were strong with the strength of God and that the future was theirs. He also addressed them regarding yesterday's shooting incident, and he said that the movement already has information on who actually shot at his convoy, killing one of his bodyguards and injuring his son, an advisor, and that he would be giving that information to the Minister of Interior to follow it up in accordance with the Palestinian law. The Prime Minister also addressed the Hamas supporters regarding the ongoing siege that the international community has imposed on the Palestinian Authority ever since Hamas took power.
Don't lose faith. Don't feel weak. Don't fall into despair. Don't fall into pain. You are far beyond. You are much far beyond. People, hearts and minds and eyes are looking at you.
No, strong words to his supporters there after another day of violence.
Yes, definitely. Very strong words. This was an opportunity for Hamas to show that it still was in power, that it still was very strong. It was a very strong showing on the part of the Hamas supporters who came out also to cement the Hamas position with regards to the shooting incident yesterday. The speech itself called for unity. Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh called for unity. However, he did tell the Hamas supporters not to despair from those who conspire against them at broad daylight and at night. And he said that this was a show of weakness on the part of those who are supposedly conspiring against Hamas, which was strong and acting on the will of God.
Now, he's positioning himself ahead of President Mahmoud Abbas's speech tomorrow. But he also said that money, he's been traveling around Arab states, money will be coming towards the Palestinian territory. So he's obviously looking for further support there, promising money to the Palestinian territories. But how will that money eventually get there, considering the economic sanctions in place?
Well, countries, including the Arab countries, who have announced that they want to start breaking this blockade, are finding it very hard to do so, because banks still refuse to transfer and wire any money to the Palestinian Authority or to any bank or any bank account linked to Hamas, because of American threats to sanction those banks. At the moment, there are two mechanisms: one by the Arab League and one by the Quartet. If money is deposited through the Arab League, it's then wired to President Mahmoud Abbas, who then deposits that money into the Ministry of Finance. The Quartet has its own mechanism for mainly humanitarian assistance at this point. Right now, we still don't know what the Hamas movement, what the Prime Minister planned to do with the sums of money that he couldn't bring into the Gaza Strip with him yesterday.
No order from Gaza, and let's go to our correspondent in Ramallah, Walid Batrawi. Walid, what has been the response there to Ismail Haniyeh's speech?
Well, actually, few people are in the streets of Ramallah because of the tension that and the demonstrations and the clashes that have taken place earlier, where about 30 Palestinians have been injured in a clash between Hamas supporters and the security forces. But from what I heard from the few people around here is that there are two different point of views. The first point of view is that Haniyeh had spoken as a Hamas leader and not as a prime minister, and that the other opinion is that Hamas has showed its power and strength in the Gaza Strip, and that the speech have said or made Hamas look as it's in control. So these are the main two point of views about Haniyeh's speech.
Walid Batrawi from Ramallah there. And staying in Ramallah, we'll go over to Fatah spokesperson Dr. Jamal Nazal. Now, Dr. Jamal Nazal, thank you very much for joining us. Hamas is accusing Fatah of conducting an assassination attempt on Ismail Haniyeh. What is your reaction to that?
Well, this is meant to divert the attention from the political assassination which has targeted 3 Palestinian children just 48 hours ago. We have doubt that Hamas is honest about this approach with the Palestinian people. I have heard today too many emotions but very few thoughts about the way out of this dilemma. I think we should stop exchanging the blame for what's happening. In my view, these accusations are totally false. Hamas has attacked the Rafah cross-border with over 400 to 500 gunmen. They stormed the halls, they destroyed the belongings of the people, they harmed the lives of the people who were there, and then they came out claiming that someone shot at them. It was a failed attempt to unravel all, to ravish all the belongings of the people there. It is an attempt to spread disorder all out the area of the cross-border.
Okay, now there's been violence today, both in Gaza, the West Bank, Ramallah. Is Fatah in control of its security forces?
Fatah does have no security forces whatsoever. By this you mean the forces of President Abbas. These are the forces of the Palestinian Authority. These are the legitimate forces which the Palestinian president deploys in many parts of the country when there are unrest in some places. So we can say, as far as Ramallah is concerned, as far as the cities of the West Bank are concerned, the president is in control. Also, he has mobilized the Palestinian forces to move around Gaza to
So any
help
action
ease the
done
situation
is
there.
sanctioned by him? Any actions by them is sanctioned by him?
Well, you cannot say that. Well, people have the right to demonstrate here, but they do not have the right to shoot at the police forces. Just today, a member of the Hamas has shot the Palestinian policeman in Ramallah in his head. Now he is in a very dangerous stage. He is fighting for his life. Hamas gunmen have done the same thing in Gaza just recently, just yesterday, and this is not the way to go. They keep on threatening,
Mr.
accusing
Nazar,
everyone, steering emotions high.